Once I had an airsoft gun I hadn't played with in a while, and I was like looking at it, and I cocked it, and I was like,
and looking down, and it was caught, but I didn't realize it shot and stuck to the front of the house.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Blaine.
I'm Barbara.
I'm Bernie.
I'm Gus. So for 30 days, while you were doing the amazing race, they took your phone. So effectively, you were just cut off.
Right. And I was like, oh, this is great. I might have broke my habit of being on my phone constantly. Within 2 days, I was back to literally 2 times a minute
I don't
checking
think
my
it
phone.
could be broken.
Why don't you do the same thing?
Why don't I do what?
How long do you think you could live if you didn't have
You wouldn't last a day.
email or text messaging or any of that shit? What about you, Blaine? How long do you think you could last?
I'd give it a good 36 hours before I'd break down.
I don't think I could.
I don't think I could last 24.
I could not last 1 hour. I don't think.
The skin crawls when I don't have it for like 10 minutes. Like I just reach for it just then as a comfort thing.
People are compulsive to a point where they don't even realize it, compulsive in checking their phones. Even those people who want to change their behavior have a lot of trouble. What does science tell us about this?
You pull your smartphone out and you get a tweet or a text and you get a little jolt of positive reward.
And scientists have even found that there's a release of a brain chemical called dopamine, a pleasure-producing chemical, whenever we seek or find new information.
We see that the greatest dopamine release for a reward happens when the predictability of the reward is lowest.
And over time, you're rewarded, about half the time you pull it out of your pocket. And the only other place you see that in life is in Vegas, where they've built that same schedule of reinforcement into the slot machines. And so you're basically just, that's your cell phone behavior right there.
Ryan, Jeff wouldn't do it, but I offered Jeff anyways.
So like just about everything else at Rooster Teeth, it started as a dumb conversation on the podcast or among friends. When we got into the discussion, we wondered, could somebody younger than us at the company who never lived without these things, what would their life be like if they went through some kind of technology deprivation?
We have our own website where we distribute original series, podcasts. We just wrapped up our first feature film.
Things that we do today, the way we deliver content, the way we communicate with our audience, didn't exist even a couple years ago.
When I was a younger person, you basically knew the people who went to your school, and that was your network. But people like Blaine and Barbara, they have friends all over the world. No! Blaine can go to a new city and have a date that night, because by the time he's left the airport, he's connected with 3 or 4 people over Tinder.
Blaine directs shows for us, and he writes a lot of content.
$1 Million Bud is one in particular that I've been working on lately.
You get $1 million, but you have a knife attached to your hand at all times. We're talking a machete.
God.
No?
Yeah.
By the way, I'd never do it. That's ridiculous.
No, that's
stupid.
Technology is a huge part of Barb's job.
I mean, we're an online company. Her entire job is communication.
She's an on-camera personality for us, which requires a lot of communication. She's on our podcast. She's the voice of Yang in Ruby. She's in charge of all the social media interaction for the company with our community.
I communicate with our fans, I reply to emails, I run all of our social media, so our Twitter, our Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, Vine, etc., etc.
She has to be connected 24 hours a day just to do her job.
I'm probably online. How many hours am I awake? Let's see.
Starting route to Rooster Teeth.
I'd say it's a tie between looking at my phone in my room, like laying on my bed, and also bathroom time is a very tech-heavy time. Yeah.
I probably look at my phone at least once every 20 to 30 minutes. Someone's now following me.
I think Blaine will have the biggest problem, honestly. So much of his life is spent in social media networks. His job is spent there, but then also his personal and love life. He has Tinder, where he just goes through a menu.
In order to start talking to someone, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than just swiping right on a picture. What's going on with Blaine and Barbara is they're gonna undergo a technology cleanse.
We basically reset their technology to 1989, which is approximately the year that they were born.
Everybody takes kind of all of their technology for granted.
We're gonna take away their smartphones, we're gonna take away their computers, anything else that didn't exist at the time. We're gonna give them some pagers, and they're gonna have to do all of their work still.
What would you do with your life if you didn't have all that at your fingertips?
I think that by Sunday, they both may be twitching a little bit, jonesing. I think it's gonna be a huge relief for them when they finally get access to technology again. I hope they don't screw it up. Barbara, hey, can I see that?
No?
Just, let me show you something. I'm taking this. So if anybody needs to get a hold of you since you don't have a phone, they can reach you at this thing. This is called a pager. We used to use those back in the day. People can call a number and it will buzz, and then you can call them back with that phone. This computer's gotta go. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you're being violent.
There we go.
Oh my God.
So it's not all bad. You're gonna have the latest cutting edge 1989 technology. Have fun.
I'm terrified.
Are you hearing this? And I have cancer.
There's been some interesting research into how attached we are to smartphones, and it seems to be that if you lose or get rid of your smartphone, the initial reaction is panic.
Do you know how to use a pager?
I had a pager.
Please come help me. I don't know what to do with it.
Holy. What is that?
It's a typewriter.
Oh God.
Okay. None of these buttons do anything.
Shut up. Shut up. Oh, fuck.
You gotta take away your technology.
Yeah. Just have to watch.
Wow, antennas. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Sweet. Got a new chest of drawers. That is not a chest of drawers.
I've always wanted a poster of Bon Jovi.
That is a fucking television. Holy shit.
The clapper.
You hungry for conversation? There you go.
Fucking hammered from him.
For this experiment, I got a watch. It's currently the end of the world. Let's see, I got system finder, notepad file, scrapbook file, image writer.
So, you know, Blaine and Barbara, an easy way to get through the tech cleanse is just to avoid all their work and responsibilities. And so to avoid that, we want to actually see how they would react if they had to do their job with that technology. So every day we're going to make sure that they have a specific set of tasks that they have to get done using the technology cleanse level of technology.
My interdepartment delivery.
Why did you have to type it out like this?
Day 1. During this week, talk to women or call them on the phone and try to get a date for this Saturday night. Fuck.
Take 24 selfies with film camera that is provided in the box.
Might as well start it out now. Do I gotta reel it?
Provide content for your coworkers to post online using technology from 1989 or before.
I remember floppy disks, but I don't think they were this big. Coming in hot. Here we go. It's just such a tech-heavy company that I work for. The process to complete a shoot, like how we normally do from week to week, would be like double the amount of time. The devices I have now are a beeper, a camera, a word processor, and a computer, all taking up my desk right now. And about an hour ago, I had a device that was about yay big that had all of these things on it. No more.
So Caleb's taking over for me this week since I won't have access to a computer. So I'm letting him know about all the shows, what time they go live, if he should post on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all the things that did not exist in 1989. Hey, boss.
Can you stop typing for a moment?
Hold on. Almost done?
You know you can't email through a typewriter, right?
Sure. This is true, but I could give it to someone.
She got a typewriter. She made me this today. Like, this is what Barbara does.
She's literally the community manager. What is her job?
Her job is to make sure that I'm doing her job for her.
Okay.
A lot of what I do is based on what's going on the internet and, you know, trends on social media and what our community's saying. And when there's a delay in that, it's not as relevant. Having to go through multiple channels and go through multiple people to get something up and approved is, like, tiresome.
She's been the voice of Rooster Teeth and all of our social media fronts for a little over 4 years now, and, you know, she's essentially having that voice taken away from her. And I think that's kind of a hard hit to take.
Okay, what else do we have today? Going without technology, I'll miss the warmth of the community for sure. Having them show you so much love and support every day, you get a little addicted to that. And not having that for a week is gonna be sad. I'm gonna miss it.
I'm going to the location for tomorrow, and I'm running really late, and I don't have GPS. Things are not looking good.
There are skills that we had when we needed them, and now we don't need them, so we don't practice them anymore.
All right, we're getting into themes: cherry wood, walnut. Like these are wood.
But we would figure out how to find our way around, and it wouldn't take that long.
Now it makes sense why they do numbers and themes, so that idiots like me can get around.
So I'm currently on my way over to see my boyfriend, who I haven't spoken to or seen all day. Usually by now I would have at least messaged him or emailed him or something.
We've been trained by the technology to expect immediate response. You know, you Google something, you get a list of search results in half a second, and I think we carry that over into our social lives as well.
I could be a pretty paranoid person. Like if I don't hear from someone like I usually do, I'm convinced that they're dead.
Technology puts us often into a cycle of dependency. You become much less willing to wait for something, which means you become much antsier, much more nervous, much more stressed out by any delay of any kind. You need to slow things down, and we can't slow things down anymore.
Hi.
Hello. I tried calling you earlier, but you'd already left your house.
Yeah. What time did you try calling me?
It's kind of nice that I just send stuff and then you don't. Like, I get the last word always. I like this. Ow! I like this experiment.
So if that's 2906, then theoretically, I think I'm on 29th Street. So I passed the location, I think.
Computers in general, but smartphones in particular, they're much more than just social media. They're a means to automate many day-to-day activities that we used to do ourselves, automate them with software and with apps. There's something good about knowing where you are, about getting your bearings.
So there's 18, and my calculations are correct. 14 streets up is my destination. Motherfucker.
It's kind of hard to complain about things that make your life easier and prevent you from getting lost. But it's often through struggling with some situation. Maybe you are lost. Maybe you're bored and have to figure out something to do. Maybe you have to figure out how something works. Struggling with those kind of challenges is actually very satisfying.
Walnut and 32nd Street! Woo! I made it!
All right, friends. Left my TV on while I was out. 4 messages. When I got home, that's probably the loneliest I felt during it the whole time. It was almost like, who could I call and just talk to and just have like some type of human interaction?
Deleted. Wednesday, 6:22 p.m. 7 days. End of messages.
Sounded like someone said, "What's happening, Dave?" Interesting.
Well, it's the end of day one. Normally, while laying here in bed, I'd be on my phone, searching the internet or being on Twitter, but I'm so bored I have nothing to do with my hands. So I think I might actually go to sleep at a decent time. So yeah. Okay. I left you a message.
Did you?
Yeah, 7 days.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
I thought it was someone going, "What's up, Dave?"
One of the biggest problems with technology, and something that Bob and I talk about a lot, is multitasking.
And action. All right, great. Good.
Fundamentally, human minds don't multitask. About 10% of people are decent multitaskers, which means there's a 90% chance you're not one of them.
All right, everybody's clapping.
What people who are able to sustain attention for long periods of time do is they find rewarding moments, having a new insight about some project that you're working on. And really all that's required is redirecting attention to that in the absence of having other distractors that might be in your environment.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Let's go to the house.
So I'm like way more focused, and I think we've been doing a really good time today. No?
No, yeah, we are. That's what's funny. It's because of you.
Oh, okay.
Because we took away technology.
How I find out about pretty much everything nowadays is from Twitter. So if a celebrity dies, or if there's some war happening, or just anything big in the world, it's on Twitter. Reading about it in a newspaper is like the old-fashioned Twitter.
Hey!
Hello, Barbara.
I have to tell you something. Come on. Did you know that the case against Bill Cosby is moving forward?
She mentioned that she read the newspaper and found out about Bill Cosby, that they're moving forward with his case, because that's all she can do is find out the news via a newspaper.
You get a little bit of anxiety when you have to talk to people and just randomly strike up a conversation about something going on. The whole idea of it is very nerve-wracking.
Well, hey, there you go. Did you hear? Do you guys know about Bill Cosby?
So when you do it online, specifically Twitter, it's almost just like, this is what I think. And then if people want to interact with you or respond, that's their call. But in a face-to-face situation, you're kind of forcing someone into responding to it instead of letting them do it on their own.
You know, the famous Bill Cosby from The Cosby Show.
I was like a dozen.
It was a little awkward at first, but then people started talking about it and there was a discussion going about it, which made me feel more comfortable.
Come on, 1, 2.
We're shotless.
Thanks to the smartphone, the online world is now with us all the time. And so even when you have a face-to-face conversation with someone, the person can pull out their phone. And just a few years ago, I think 5 years ago, that would have been considered kind of incredibly rude.
Everyone's on their devices, having the fun time.
Social norms and expectations have changed. There's no sense that you're being disrespectful by, in effect, sharing your attention with the person who's in front of you in this abstract thing in your hand.
There were moments when we were just having a talk and people would just pull out their phone out of habit and just like be looking at it as they're talking to you, or even stop talking as they're looking at it. And that happened a few times. It was kind of just like, we're still talking. Like, what should I do now?
It's a habit. And addictions are habits to things that we don't want people to have habits about. I mean, it's the same mechanisms. We don't have special addiction mechanisms. What we have are habits, and certain habits become really difficult to break. So yeah, we're addicted to our technology.
It's a VHS player of some sort. Today, make a video explaining the technology cleanse to the Rooster Teeth community. The video will eventually be shared online. Use the VHS camera provided. All right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yo, dudes, this is Blaine Gibson, and it's February 4th, 2016, and it's 3:28 p.m., and I am on a technology cleanse. I miss Twitter, and I miss Tinder, and I miss text messaging, and I miss having a phone call whenever I'm, out and about. But I like these shoes, which are totally 1990s. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go. Was Michael Jackson cool back in the 90s?
I'm sorry. I'm so bad at filming, y'all. It is the end of the, I guess, day 2. I just got home after having a nice dinner. It's funny how much more I realize people pulling out their phones. There was a moment where there must have been 10 to 15 people in this waiting area. Every single one of them was on their phone. Every single person. And it was strange to me to realize the sadness of it, I guess. Of just, you're out to dinner with your friends or your family or your boyfriend or girlfriend and you're like this and not looking at them or talking to them. We're all privy to that kind of behavior, but I don't think you really have a perspective on it until you don't have that in front of you and you see what the world is like. Aaron's very bad at communicating. So I would try to call him and then he wouldn't pick up. And I was like, oh, maybe he's busy. And I tried calling a couple hours later and he wouldn't pick up. And there's no way of me being like, what the fuck are you doing? Where are you?
I think Barbara's been pretty stressed. Barbara likes to, communicate. She likes to touch base. It's not like we weren't talking, but we didn't have technology, that constant connection and communication. It started causing a little bit of friction. She couldn't get a hold of me.
Fuck! Fuck! Cussing at your typewriter again. Stop cussing at the technology. Hey,
no.
You've been off Twitter for like 48, 72 hours, whatever, so stuff is stacked up. So I had Andrew print off the important ones that need your response.
This company's very dialed into its community. Like, we are our community. So you don't turn that off at 5 o'clock. She's always on. She has to be.
You need to write up or type up your responses, however you want to do it, but you need to make sure to count so it's 140 characters so you don't give them something that's not off character and they have to...
She can type up all the little notices she wants to Caleb and whoever, but it's never going to be enough.
When do you need this by?
I'll try to work on it today.
All right.
Yeah.
I will get right on that, boss
Just
man.
however you want to reply to this. Just...
Bernie had invited me out for something, and I had to get approval for something else from my manager, and I had to make those phone calls. It was like going into a time machine, just like hanging out back in like '89.
I've crammed quarters in with more quarters. Don't fill me with hope like this. Come on.
Well, I think it's interesting to be able to look at this stuff in a close enough relationship time-wise where you can really feel the impact of the changes over a short period of time. You really can feel those differences, and they're relatable to where we are today.
Howdy. Mind if I use your phone?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Payphone's broken. I'm trying to call my boss. I don't think he's gonna answer though. Blaine Gibson. No one's answering today, so sorry about that.
At least I remember and know a time when I didn't have this device in my hand. Kids that are born now, they will never know that. And they really will be somewhere at some point, and their phone is out of power, and they're just like, well, that's it. Society's over for me, I'm done.
Yo, dudes, this is Blaine Gibson, and it's February 4th, 2016, and I am on a technology cleanse, which means that all my cell phones, my computer...
We built a community website to try to better connect with our audience and with people who are consuming our content. As social media has grown, now there's just more avenues for us to make those connections, so we try to maintain presences on just about every platform out there.
Yesterday, Blaine made a video explaining the technology cleanse experiment. Find a way to tell hundreds of strangers to watch his video. Before social media existed and before the internet existed, if you have a film that you're trying to promote, you would have to go out in the streets and talk to people, and I would hate to live in that world. So have you guys ever needed to promote anything like not on the internet?
Flyers, posters. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Yeah. Go outside a restaurant and as people are leaving, give them a flyer.
I think a lot of people, especially who have jobs like I do, fuck, this is the worst one. We grew up as socially awkward nerds, and so we feel more comfortable and confident when we're, in the safety of our own screen or room or wherever we are. I don't like bothering people when they don't want to be bothered. And that's essentially what this was.
Hey guys, you want to check out a documentary about losing technology for a week? No?
Okay.
Laughing is not a yes or a no.
Sir, with the iPhone in the speakers?
Roosterteeth.com.
I know you hear me. I used to play that trick in college all the time. Okay.
Maybe people would be surprised, thinking that I'm more of an outgoing person. I'm not.
It's twitter.com/roosterteeth in case you want to check out our documentary.
Yeah, you in the orange.
If anybody wants a flyer for more information.
Twitter.com. Okay, all right. Would you like to check out a documentary? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're constantly in a state of adapting to the situation.
Madam, if you'd like
that
to
we're
check
in.
out a cool documentary, imagine if that was taken from you right now, what it would feel like.
That's what the documentary's about.
That's what we're doing right now.
So you take away one set of tools, and they find another set of tools in order to do the job. And you wake up one day and your internet's out, and you think, well, gosh, I guess we're going to have to talk to each other today. And then you do.
Hello. Would you like to check out our documentary?
Yeah, actually, I just had the most surreal experience because I was across the street, like, listening to Rooster Teeth podcast.
Oh, really?
Hey, another Rooster Teeth fan.
That's awesome, man.
This is the craziest thing. What's the documentary about?
We had a few people today that like Rooster Teeth.
I think 5 people came up and they're like, hey, Blaine Barbara, and we're like, ah.
Yeah, it's very different than being online where I could just type out something and know that everyone who's going to read it likes Rooster Teeth already.
She does not want to check it out. I can tell by her body language.
Me too.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. We handed out a lot, and you can tell that they just kind of took it out of kindness. They're like, yeah, thank you.
Like, garbage.
I noticed a lot of people are putting on headphones and then like staring straight, even though I know that they could see me in their peripheral.
We're doing some of this. There is nothing worse than passing out flyers. I'm just letting you know.
It would have been worse if Blaine wasn't with me. He's good at this kind of stuff, especially talking to the ladies, which maybe a lot of women would ignore me.
Check out our documentary, Cute Puppy.
It's hard to tell how successful this was because we didn't get that immediate response or knowing if people clicked it or watched it or did anything like that.
To have to go out and actively find a girl and to do that one I was a little bit more weary of because, you guys stripped me of my Tinders and my Bumbles.
Let me see here.
It's my expense report for PAX South.
How many hookers did you buy?
I kept it, down to 3.
$8.87.
I'm comfortable talking to women, but I think it's easier if I do that first digitally.
I think I'm a crutch tonight for Blaine. I'm a pretty good wingman, so maybe that's why he invited me.
I feel very bad for Blaine. Yeah, I could tell he's dreading this.
The statistics are with him. So he could fail, but he's gonna ask 100 women, if they'll love him, and one will go, yes, Blaine, I love you, and then he'll succeed.
I just think he needs to, throw caution to the wind and go for it.
So how often do you have people ask to take shots with you? You guys are totally eyeballing me. What's going on?
I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
You're creeping me out, all right?
I think it's starting to be pretty clear that one of the reasons people, particularly young people, like to socialize via their phones is that it reduces social risk.
You just see pictures online. You imagine the person however you want them to be. No one likes talking anymore.
If they somehow reject you or say something insulting to you, you're right there face to face. You have to deal with that.
I have a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend? You don't really have a boyfriend, but that's okay. It didn't work. It didn't work. How's it going, guys? Oh, you're leaving?
We're actually walking. I'm sorry.
Awkward. No worries. I'll see you later. This is the worst.
Yeah, I can remember how nervous I was, even though my memory is kind of hazy because there's a lot of drinks involved.
So I can call.
Oh my God, this is funny.
I'm drunk. Hold on. Do not leave me for the love of Christ. So I got a beeper.
Nice.
And I'm not a drug dealer, believe it or not.
What's your name?
Blaine. Terrace, okay?
Lexi.
And
Allie.
Learning how to navigate those risks is actually part of being a full-fledged human being in society.
Here's my little black book of phone numbers.
Yes!
And I'm gonna get everyone's number here. All right, I'll see you guys. This is the worst. This is literally the worst.
I'm kind of bored, don't really have much to do. So I'm up in the ante with my creep game, and I'm using my binoculars. They're shooting a movie across the street. God, I'm bored.
Day 4 was stressful and tiring because I was forced to occupy myself. And usually I'd be on social media or messaging Aaron or any of my friends, and I couldn't do that.
It's nice not having that stressor and just kind of like taking things in a little bit more, but at the same time, I feel really disconnected.
I do wonder if Blaine and Barbara have just sat around and, looked out at the sunset or something and thought, the sunset would look even better on my phone. If only I had my phone.
Being able to follow your own train of thought, being alone with your thoughts, being contemplative adds to the quality of your life and to the quality of the self you develop. You need attentiveness in order to think conceptually. If you're constantly distracted and constantly interrupted, then you don't develop big picture, conceptual, creative thinking.
You got a message for me? Leave it after the tone. Stop button. Right.
Hey Blaine, it's Barbara. Great answering machine message, by the way. I could see why you're getting so many dates. I'm cooking dinner at my apartment, so you should come over and hang out. So far it's me and Aaron. I'm also gonna give Chris a call. All right, goodbye, friend.
Normally, I listen to Spotify, and then I just make a random playlist depending on the situation.
Jimmy Buffett.
Foreigner.
What else they have? Oh God, this is it?
The realization I had about albums is sometimes it's nice to listen to something all the way through, because before I would pick and choose songs, and then I'd make this like disjointed and random playlist. But when you listen to like an album to completion, it's like the artist made it with an intention.
I think this is it, all the cassettes.
It's kind of like a total works of art, not just the individual songs.
I definitely learned through this experience that I'm a lot lazier than I'd like to be, specifically with finding a recipe and cooking it. I was like, I gotta go to a library, I gotta read a book. That was like sorting through all the recipe books that they have at the library, which I found out is a lot.
Hey Blaine, it's Barbara. Great answering machine message, by the way. I can see why you're getting so many dates. I am cooking dinner tonight. You should come over and hang out.
Inbound messages.
Eggplant. Bleh. I actually had to write down that recipe, which, by the way, when you do that, you should write down every step, because I found out the hard way. I think we're definitely a lot lazier these days, and we have everything we want at our fingertips that could be ordered or Googled.
We're cooking now.
I decided to make spaghetti and meatballs from scratch, for some reason. I like to learn how to cook things. I'm not very good at it. The meatballs turned out great.
I feel like that looks like a meatball, so let's go with that.
But I learned that I missed writing down boil the sauce until thick. I only wrote boil the sauce. So it was this like liquidy, disgusting tomato water that I had.
So it looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. I don't know who to call. So my task was to meet a girl out in the wild, to get their phone number. Oh God. Oh, this is gonna be really awkward. To get a phone call with them and then to take them on a date. This ladies' man persona that I've built up with the Rooster Teeth community and just people in general is just gonna be shattered, and they're gonna think that I'm like the biggest loser. Is this Lexi?
Most human interactions go slowly.
Hello? Yeah. Hey, this is Blaine, the drunk guy from Shakespeare's, the one that had the beeper. You remember me?
You form sentences, you have thoughts.
Yeah? No? Oh, hey, how's it going?
When you're just texting, right, or you're even talking on the phone, you lose some things that you get when you're talking to someone one-on-one, like you and I are talking right now.
Well, I hope I'm not taking up your time. What are you doing tonight?
If there's a thing about it that people become unpracticed at, it's that.
Well, then I guess I'll talk to you later then, Lexi. All right. Okay. Oh, thanks. I'm having a great time living in the 80s. All right. Bye-bye. I didn't think I was going to get a date, and sure enough, I didn't. I'm glad it's over, but at the same time, like, I think there was, like, a certain level of charm having me call her. And I could tell, like, you can hear that she was smiling on the other end of the phone.
It's hard to engage in a deep, long, rambling conversation via text. That depth is extremely important for well-being.
I might be more prone to calling women earlier on in the communication, you know, in the back and forth, because I guess it shows initiative. And yeah, I don't know.
You always ruin it.
Sorry, Mom, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. Made it to Barbara's house. Here's the bread. It looks delicious. Here's an Aaron. Looks delicious. There he is.
Oh, Chris, we're just having dinner.
About to have some food. Looks yummy.
Everyone's getting the food.
During this week, Barbara and I have interacted less, but the times we've interacted have been a higher caliber of conversation. She invited us to dinner, and when I walked in, we just immediately got into a conversation, just talking. It got really nice and comfortable throughout the night. We were all engaged with one another.
I actually had more fun that night than I do most nights hanging out with my friends.
God damn it, Blaine.
People did look at their phones while they were there. Blaine didn't. I actually shot a little B-roll video of me not doing anything, Aaron and Chris both on their phones, and Blaine was asleep. So, wild night.
Okay. Looking for the state park. Aha! It's right there, McKinney Falls State Park. All right.
Siri did not exist in 1989, Blaine.
Oh, okay. GPS has totally killed my, like, desire to know where things are.
And also, you gotta be so much more observant. Okay, so it's gonna be on the left.
Oh,
I see a little arrow.
It says
McKinney
Falls State Park.
State Park.
I think it's healthy to sometimes do things that are meaningful and important to you. Something that doesn't have any practical, immediate benefit in terms of productivity or social status or whatever. That provides a kind of refuge in which the self can flourish and expand and become more interesting.
That's water.
There's water.
But
so
where's the
if we
falls?
follow it somewhere.
I feel like they're down this way.
Okay.
I really liked just being there, especially like with Blaine.
We made it.
The falls! Even just sitting in silence was nice and just taking it all in. By then, you know, I had gotten so used to being without technology, I was just more comfortable in general. I didn't have something that I felt the need to check constantly. And just reflecting over the last few days that we had gone through. So do you think you're gonna fall into habits of like having to check your phone at every moment?
I think I'm gonna try to make it a general rule that if I'm in the presence of another person, then I'll make a point of not bringing it out. I feel like I've become a little bit more judgmental.
We're not like them anymore.
Yeah.
Would you rather live in 1989 or 2016?
I wish I could cherry pick things from both time periods, like the technology and the convenience and stuff like that. But I wish I could take more of the cultural aspects from 1989. I've never talked to so many people. I've never been more friendly with strangers. It's nice.
Doing a good job. Those are nice trees. I'm gonna share this with nobody. This is for me. And maybe you, Blaine.
Ha 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 ha, I spotted someone on their phone in nature. Look at them. Enjoying the great outdoors, lol. Hashtag camping Hashtag blue shirt.
I think experiencing that definitely made me want to do that more often in nature.
To be thrown back even a couple of decades would really require people to kind of reorganize their minds. And people might find that, hey, my life is a little more balanced now.
Play land! Yay!
I felt a mix of emotions. I felt like a little bit of dread because I knew that I was about to get my phone back at some point that day. So I just knew that better enjoy this time while it lasts, because here in a second I'm gonna have to go back into the real world and get buckled down with all that stuff and have to, fight off any of the old habits.
I think by then I had completely broken the phone addiction. It was almost like an escape.
And Barbara, you have a package in the front.
She's Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Oh, it's heavy.
I think I know what this is. There was a package waiting for us at the front desk, and when we went up, sure enough, it was our phones. All right, you ready to turn it on?
I don't want to turn it on yet. I'm scared of what's going to happen.
And I don't know how Blaine felt, but I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want this.
I was not wanting to turn it on. All right, they're starting to reel in.
Oh
God.
Yeah.
All at once. I had to be a big boy. I had to turn it on and face the real world and see all those emails and text messages I missed.
I don't know. I feel like we could have gone a lot longer without them.
1,900 emails.
I don't even know how many Twitter alerts I had because it was probably upwards of 1,000.
Picking this up was like picking up a brick of stress.
It's heavy.
I'm like really scatterbrained right now because, now that the whole thing's over, I'm just trying to remember how to get back into the swing of things and the stuff that I'm going to be getting back, but also the stuff that I'm going to be giving up. I'm just going to put this away.
What do you feel like doing again? Do you feel like looking at it, or?
Not now, no. I just want to put it away. There's joy to be had from both technology and also being free of technology. So I think I just need to find that balance.
I decided when I got my phone back and I had all those alerts on it that I was just going to start from scratch. Clearly nothing burned down, no one died. There's nothing I need to deal with that's that important that I have to go back in and respond to or read.
This experiment was less about losing the things in my life that made stuff convenient. It was more about realizing that there's a bigger world out there that I'm not really paying attention to because I'm focusing on a little screen.
We have ways that we can structure our lives to keep all the positive aspects of what technology has to offer and yet avoid the negatives that come with it.
After the tech cleanse was done, I got back on to Tinder. I realized I was like, this is just bad. I just don't like this. I wasn't finding joy in it. So I actually recently deleted Tinder. I figured out that I can do that in real life, so I don't need this app to help me do that.
There's no way back!
Blaine and I were actually talking and we said we've reverted to a lot of our old habits. One of the biggest things I've carried on from this experience, and I've already started doing it, I don't bring my phone with me when I go out to meals anymore.
I am making a value judgment. I think some of this comes down to, what is important in our lives.
I feel more grateful to be able to interact with the Rooster Teeth community on a day-to-day basis. It opened my eyes to using social media in a more valuable way, wanting to engage them in a deeper level.
One of the really good things about having connection to the world, essentially, is that if you feel isolated in your own home, in your own family, in your own neighborhood, you can find a community online. I think that's all to the good.
We always have to adapt to how do we use those technologies as a force for good and not for evil.
Overall, I think I'm going to really try to focus on enjoying life outside of a cell phone. Well, this was fun.